I don't encourage my clients to bring their problems to my hotel. I have an office for conducting business. But with old friends like Liz Allen, there are no rules. She was too anxious to find out what was at the bottom of all this to wait for the office to open. I could understand her anxiety. All right, now, Liz, honey, you come on over here and sit down and take it easy, huh?
Oh, I hate running to you with all my problems, Mike, but I just didn't know where else to
Well,
start.
I'd be sore at you if you didn't, Liz. Go on, now, have a cup of coffee and relax, huh?
Thank you.
With cream sugar?
No.
Okay. Now, this is Johnny's girl? You sure?
Absolutely sure.
Pretty rich dish for a college kid. Where'd you meet her, on the back of a magazine cover?
Oh, they went to the same college.
Oh, college romance, huh?
No, not exactly. She left 2 years ago. Wanted to go on the stage.
Oh.
That's what surprised me so when she looked Johnny up.
When was all this?
About a year ago, she came back for a visit. The first thing she did was call Johnny. He was walking on a little pink cloud.
I can understand why.
Oh, but it worries me. Johnny's changed so much.
Johnny changed?
Nothing you can put your finger on. Just a dozen little things. He's cutting classes now.
Oh, Liz, all kids cut classes.
But Johnny never did before. He's always been so studious.
Oh, Liz, love does funny things to kids, especially that first big crush, remember?
If that were all it was, I wouldn't worry, Mike. But there's all that money.
Money?
He makes dozens of trips to New York. He comes home and he buys all kinds of new clothes. And I don't know where he gets that money.
Did you ask him?
For all the good it does me. He keeps pushing me away. It worries me. I keep telling myself, basically, he's a good boy. But this...
Want me to have a talk with him?
Oh, would you, Mike? I think he'd talk to you like he would his dad.
Well, I don't know about that. Filling Bob Allen's shoes is a pretty big deal. But I'll do the best I can.
Would you make him listen, Mike? If he is in trouble, maybe we're not too late. Maybe we can still head him off.
Okay, all right. Now, you go on home and get some rest, huh? I'll get dressed, get the car out, and drive up to Benton this morning. Look the boy up, okay?
Oh, Mike, thanks.
Goodbye, honey. Johnny Allen never used to spend much time in hangouts like this for two reasons. One, he didn't want to take time off from his studying. Two, he didn't have the money to spend. Johnny?
Mike, what are you doing here?
How are you, kid? I was just driving through, thought I'd drop in and say hello.
Don't worry about this, you guys. I'll get the check. Catch up with you later. Gosh, come on, sit down, Mike. Good to see you. Have a malt.
No, thanks. I'm on the wagon.
I'll have another one of the same. Same old Mike. You haven't changed a bit.
Yeah, well, you sure have, boy.
Nobody stays a kid forever.
Yeah, that's a fact. Say, I hear you're graduating this year. You got any plans?
Some. I'll get by.
You look like you're doing okay right now.
I managed.
I mean, for a kid working his way through college, wearing a jacket that'd be a bargain at $150, that's not bad. And picking up the other boys' tabs, that takes scratch.
You trying to say something to me, Mike?
Yeah. But maybe you'll say this is none of my business, but your father was a friend of mine.
My father, crusading reporter.
That's right, and one of the best.
So what did he get for it? He got himself shot. Do you know what we got? A raft of press clippings and a purse of $500.
You used to be pretty proud of your old man, Johnny. What happened?
Maybe I'm getting smart. Maybe I found out you don't have to be a hero to put your life on the line for somebody else's good.
What do you have to be to put somebody else's life on the line, Johnny?
Meaning whose?
Tony Danzig's.
Now, wait a minute, Mike.
Now, you wait a minute. All right, Tony Danzig caught the big one. That's no great loss. But he was put on the spot by a broad, and that broad's picture's on your dresser. How come?
June had nothing to do with Danzig's death. And don't call her a broad.
No? You got a better name for a woman who Tony Danzig wears on his arm like a hunk of jewelry?
June worked for Danzig. He was backing a play. She was getting a part in it.
Boy, you knucklehead. The only play Danzig had any interest in was the play that he was making for her.
Mike. I'm sorry, Mike. You and I have nothing to say to each other.
Sit down. I said sit down. All right. Now, how would you like me to talk about it?
The way you talk about the girl I'm going to marry.
Congratulations.
You can't stop me.
I don't intend to. I'll leave that to the police.
The police?
They know that she put the finger on Tony. They're just giving her plenty of rope.
You're crazy. June had nothing to do with it, I tell you.
Did she tell you that?
She doesn't have to. I know she had nothing to do with it.
Sure. Where does it broad live in New York?
Listen,
all right. Where does she live?
Why? So you can bother her? She's broken up enough over this thing without you bothering.
It could get a lot worse, you know.
How?
She could get broken up so bad they couldn't put her back together again. Like Tony Danzig's head. Yeah, give it to Big Boy here. He needs it more than I do.
Well, that's the girl's statement, Mike. She claims she was out on a date with Danzig. Going to talk over a part in the play.
How'd she strike you, Pat?
Oh, she seemed like a fairly nice kid. Yet, hasn't been around long enough to harden. Give her a couple of years, you won't know from the rest.
You don't buy her story, though, huh?
Oh, you read it? Did you buy it?
No sale.
Me too. No, it was a setup, all right. Guy planted there waiting. I needed somebody to walk Danzig onto the spot, and she was it.
Yeah. Poor Tony always was a soft touch for a beautiful, lush blonde.
Yeah. Only this time it got fatal.
Oh! Sorry, Pat. Say, Pat, you any idea why Tony was put on the spot?
Got a few rumbles.
Yeah, such as?
Tony was getting ready to make a deal with the Treasury boys.
Oh?
I had him nailed to the wall on his taxes. Getting ready to swap some inside dope if they let him cop a plea. Somebody must have heard.
Ooh. What about the girl? You got a package on her?
No, not yet. All we know about her is that she's got good clothes and plenty of money. We don't know where she gets them.
Say, why don't we bring her in here? Maybe ask her a few questions, huh?
No, not a chance. We can't even begin to question her unless we get something concrete to go on. And it's not in that statement.
That's where a guy in my position's got the advantage. See, if you put the heat on, it's official, and you're harassing the taxpayers. With me, it's different.
You going to get in on this?
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
Got an angle?
No angle, no. Just a worried friend. Her son's been running around with this girl, and since the Danzig kill, she's gotten worried.
So you plan on seeing the girl?
Mm-hmm. I was thinking on it.
Of course, I can't stop you from seeing her. But, she's a little young for you, Mike.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Now, if Tony Danzig really was her daddy, then this guy in the window made her an orphan. Maybe I'll adopt her. See you around, Pat. Before I left Pat Chambers' office, I got the thing I really came for. The address of Johnny's girl, June Desmond. It was an old soot-stained building in the upper 60s. Once it had probably been the proud townhouse of a well-to-do family. Now it was little better than a rabbit warren of 1- and 2-room apartments. The letterbox in the vestibule said June Desmond occupied apartment 1D. June Desmond?
And you'd be Mike Hammer. Come in.
You sound like you were expecting me.
Yes, I was. Johnny called to tell me about the little session he'd had with you, and he thought you'd be looking me up.
I'd have been here sooner if I knew what to expect. Your pictures don't do you justice.
Thank you.
They couldn't. Not in one dimension.
And yet you don't think I'm good enough for Johnny.
Well, now, honey, where did you ever get that idea?
Oh, now that's the idea you gave Johnny.
Well, after seeing you, I think you're too good for him. I mean, why waste a symphony on a rock and roller, you know?
Mike. Is that fair to Johnny?
And yet hanging around with characters like Tony Danzig, that is, huh?
Sometimes you do things you don't like to do. You're a man of the world. You can understand, can't you?
Can I? Try me.
I love Johnny. I really do. But I'm young, Mike, and there's a lot of things Johnny can't give me just now, and I don't want to grow old waiting to enjoy them.
Does Johnny know about this?
Oh, he knows I know people. I never discuss things with him. You know Johnny, Mike. He's such a kid. He wouldn't, you understand?
Sure, I understand, honey. Hey, it's a nice place you got here.
Hey, what are we talking about, Johnny? You didn't come up here to photograph the apartment for House Beautiful.
You're beautiful.
Thank you. Hey, you. Looking for something?
Yeah. Some indication you live here.
What?
You don't live in this joint. Where do you live?
Johnny said you were crazy, but he didn't say how crazy.
Look at that dress you're wearing. It costs more than the rent in this joint for a whole year. There's nothing personal here. There's nothing in the closet. There's nothing in the icebox.
It's the craziest thing I ever heard in all my life.
You just keep this pad to make Johnny think you live here, alone. He's not smart enough to figure out that you just use this when he's in town.
Get out.
Not yet, chickie. I haven't been here long enough. We got a lot to talk about, you and I.
If you don't think I'll call the police.
The number is Spring 73100. Captain Pat Chambers will be mighty interested to know why you gave him a phony pad as an address. That's better.
All right. You said we had some talking to do. What do we talk about?
Tony Danzig. It's a good place to start as any.
I went out with Tony a few times, for lunch mostly. But between him and me, it was strictly business.
Yeah, and he got the business.
It was terrible. You know he never had a chance?
That was the general idea, wasn't it, baby?
Meaning what?
Knock it off. Everybody knows that you put Tony on the spot.
The police have my story, and
I
I'm
wasn't
not
thinking
afraid
about
of
the
them.
police.
Oh. Who then?
Tony Danzig had friends. They get real narrow-minded when a pal gets bumped off. They can get very unpleasant.
You're not scaring me.
Honey, I haven't begun to scare you yet.
What do you want from me?
How does that kid fit into this?
Fit into what?
Into this setup you're in.
He said it. Neither is
And
Johnny.
where does he get that money he's flashing?
I've been lending it to him. Is that bad?
Oh, you've been lending it to him, huh?
How else can he take me out?
Does he know it's Danzig's money?
It's not Danzig's money. It's my
And where did
money.
you get it?
None of your business.
I'm making it my business, honey. Where did you get that money?
An advance on some money coming from a show.
Honey, when I said that we're going to talk, I didn't mean we'd read fairy tales to each other. Now, let's get this straight. I'm going to get what I want. How I drag it out of you depends on you.
Busting ears are pushing me around.
Who paid you to put Danzig on the spot?
Nobody. I
Who?
didn't put my spot. Nobody. But you leave me alone.
You want it the hard way, honey? You'll get it.
You wasn't there.
You don't know.
Whoever threw that pineapple probably intended to keep June Desmond from talking. It looked as though he'd succeeded. When they dug her out of the wreckage of her apartment, the ambulance doctor gave her less than a 50-50 chance of regaining consciousness. I didn't exactly feel as though I had taken a health cure myself.
Mike?
Yeah. Yeah?
How did this happen?
Somebody threw a pineapple through the window.
They tried to kill me and you threw me out of the way?
All right, forget about it.
Why did they do it, Mike?
They were afraid you were going to talk.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
Who was it, baby? Who did it? Where can I find him?
weak to question anymore, she slid back into unconsciousness. She was still out when we drove up to the Bellevue emergency entrance. They patched my face up with some fancy hem stitching. I tried to see June before I left, but her condition was too critical. In the hall, I saw a familiar face arguing with the floor nurse. Since there's nothing more positive than the negative a nurse gives you, the kid wasn't getting any place fast.
Calm down, Johnny. Oh, Mike, how is she? Not so good. The doctors give her about an even chance. No thanks to her friends. Why? Why should anybody do it?
June was mixed up in something. She knew too much and they had to shut her up.
I can't believe it.
You can't believe it, huh? Now, who do you think tossed that pineapple at her, the Civic Improvement Association? How'd you get here so fast?
I got to thinking about what you said. I wanted to see June. I went directly to her place.
Oh, when was this?
I got there right after the ambulance left. I nearly went crazy when I heard what had happened. Mike, if I knew who was responsible for this...
Maybe you do.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you could know without even realizing it.
How could I?
Listen, did June say anything about Danzig?
He said he could do her a lot of good.
Yeah, it looks like he did. Did she ever mention any other men? I mean, friends of Danzig's, maybe.
No.
Yeah. Does the name Denny or Denny's mean anything to you?
No, should it?
Well, I don't know. She tried to tell me something in the ambulance. All I got was Denny or Denny's.
It doesn't register with me. Do you think it's a lead?
That's all we got. Not much, but it's all we got. I got a hunch if we find Denny, we're going to find the guy who bought Danzig a slab and put that poor kid where she is.
I wish I could help.
Yeah. Well, if you got any ideas, you know where to get in touch with me. After I left the hospital, I spent a couple of hours with Pat Chambers trying to get a rundown on Denny's. Sounded like the name of a cafe, bar, or roadhouse. But it was a dry run. After I left Pat Chambers' office, the reaction set in. I realized how long it had been since I had any food or rest. I dropped by Cipriano's for one of his thick steaks to take care of the food department. It was after 11 when I finally said goodnight to Carmen at the cash register. The rain felt good after the closeness of the cafe. I decided to walk.
Sure took your time. A guy could get pneumonia waiting in this weather.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. What do you want?
You're invited to a party.
Some other time, Bubba, not just for a part.
This is a come-as-you-are party. We even provide the transportation.
How can I resist your hospitality? We drove across town to the West Side Drive and headed north. Finally, we swung onto the George Washington Bridge. The reason the name Denny's hadn't rung a bell with either Pat Chambers or me was now fairly obvious. Denny's was in New Jersey, just the other side of the bridge. We weren't heading for the parking lot. That's where the paying customers went. We headed for the rear where they deliver merchandise. That's what I was. Merchandise.
Yeah. They're just driving in, boss.
Okay. Better go back to work, honey. See you a little later, huh? Well, well, if it isn't the indestructible Mike Hammer. Walked away from a pineapple, I hear.
You should know, creep, you were there. Yeah, I should have thought about you, Pete. Pineapples always were your specialty. But I heard somewhere that Pete Martin had gone legit.
I read Buck Rogers every night. That don't mean I have to believe it. Give me the iron. Sit down. Sit down. You walked away from a pineapple. You think you can walk away from a slug? You think maybe?
Been done.
Not where I plant the slug, Seamus. You and Red wait outside. If I need you, I'll call you. Too bad you can't keep your nose out of things, Hammer. That hit on Danzig was real clean. Then you try to muddy it up.
So you did buy the hit then, huh?
Danzig had a fatal disease. He talked too much. That's what killed him.
You really think you can keep your boys from blowing the whistle when the heat goes on?
All right, so you killed Danzig. You think you can keep your boys in line when you knock them off one by one?
Nice try, Seamus. Only it don't work that way. Danzig was the only guy that the T-boys could lean on. He was too smart to take advice. As for the rest of us, we're clean.
Yeah, maybe, maybe not. Danzig had something on you, Pete. He wouldn't have had to go if he didn't. It'll come out.
Everything Danzig knew was up here. Now there's nothing there. Just a hole. Yeah.
You got company.
Well, who is it?
It's him.
All right, send him in.
Johnny, suddenly remember where Denny's was, huh?
What are you doing here?
It's June, Pete. She just died. Well, that fattens your batting average, Pete. Women and children now as well as men.
Shut up.
What's he talking about?
Don't pay any attention to him.
What are you trying to say, Mike? Well, you chump, you can't be that thick. Pete here was the one who tossed the pineapple to kill June.
He couldn't have. June was working for him.
So was Danzig.
Remember what I said killed Danzig? It seemed to be getting contagious.
You did kill them. You told me there wasn't going to be any violence.
Shut up. You got no right to complain. You're in this up to your neck.
Setting up dummy corporations for you, yeah. Showing you how to bring boodle money out of the vault, sure. Murder, no.
I said shut up. You got no choice.
You weren't so smart blowing up the hold over him. She could make him do anything. You may not be able to.
I could make him dead.
What hold? What hold? The girl, you jerk. You thought that she was your girl, sucker. She was just being nice to you to keep you in line.
You're lying. She was my girl.
Stop kidding yourself. You think a chick like that would go with a punk like you? We needed you. She delivered you.
You don't learn everything from books, sucker.
There's the band. That's your funeral march, big mouth. Now get up. Back towards the door.
Outside, Martin's boy Hook must have heard the commotion. He turned the music up. I could picture him and the driver grinning themselves sick, only they didn't appreciate the funniest part of it. The wrong guy was on the receiving end. The kid had a fair-sized hole in him, but it didn't look like the big one. I knew Pat Chambers would be glad to know he had 2 kills wrapped up in the same package. You must live right, Johnny. Not many men can feel the slug from a .38 and walk away from it.
Maybe it'd be better all around if I didn't.
You mustn't talk like that, Johnny. You made a mistake. But everyone's entitled to one mistake.
June didn't get a second chance.
Well, she was in it too deep, Johnny. She put the finger on Tony Danzig. She had to take what was coming to her.
Mike, what will they do to me?
Well, I think that Pat Chambers is pretty convinced that you didn't have anything to do with the killings.
And the rest of them, Mike?
Well, the team men are going to want to ask Johnny a lot of questions. A lot depends on how honestly he answers them.
I'll tell them everything I know. Everything.
That's always the best way, Johnny.
Mom, I guess you're pretty ashamed of me. I acted like a chump.
Come on now, kid, don't take it so hard. Yeah, you're not the first guy to get suckered by a dame. There was a guy named Adam, remember?
Bye-bye,
Goodbye, dear.
Mike, and thanks.